Let's talk about the topics on the screen. Number one, why is there no empathy when women are harmed by men? I want to talk about that because the what sparked me to make this live is I saw a story about a white tea woman that had been beaten and unalived by her husband. So much so that he left her body in a stairwell and her foot was missing. Underneath the comments, I saw a comment from a white tea man that said, hey, did these women out here, they want these rich men. She's attractive. She looks like she was probably a gold digger. And that's what happens. The women get hurt because they don't want nice men like me that don't have any money. Now, I was just like, how could you see a story of a woman losing her life at the hands of a man and then you somehow make it about yourself and about women not giving you any time because you don't have any money? And it made me realize something, that wholeheartedly men don't have any empathy towards women. Like, they have zero empathy towards women. When women are harmed by men, when women are essayed by men, when women are unalived by men, for some reason, men make a justification that it's right or it's okay or that it's her fault. However, if something happens to a man and a woman has done it, the whole world is supposed to end. And I want to talk about the reason why those things are going on, especially when men know that men are known to be violent. Anytime you talk to men that have these thought processes, they'll tell you that, oh, when men talk to men, we know that we can't get smart with each other because there's a low level threat of violence there. No matter what, we know this, that, and the third. So, why is it that men act surprised when women are harmed that, oh, wow, I don't know how this happened, it could have been her fault, when men talk about how they're violent every single day? So I wanted to talk about that. Then I wanted to talk about, on a side of black women, that in the United States, black women make up 10% of the female population. Yet 59% of unalivings of women are black women. Have you ever questioned why that is? Why are so many black women being unalived? People talk about black women on this app every day, 24/7, degrade them, tear them up, make it seem as if they're not even barely human. And you wonder why black women make up the majority of unalivings, even though we make up such a small percentage. I like to talk about that. And number 4, lastly, I want to talk about, and it's really not just black men, frankly, it's the world. But in this specific instance, when we're talking about unalivings or black femicide, the majority of black femicide cases is black men doing it. And the majority of black men that are doing it are black men that these women know, may have dated, or their family members. They are unaliving black women. So black women aren't even safe with the men that they know. And the reason why that is, in my opinion, is that black men are taking out their rage, their frustration, their oppression against the women in their community, as opposed to the people that are really oppressing them. And why are they doing that are really oppressing them? And why are they doing that? Because they are afraid. They're scared. They are scared of other men. They are scared of other racial demographics of women for fear of retaliation. So they go for the women in their community because they are supposed to be the protectors in their own community. So if they're the ones doing the damage, no one is going to stand up for or defend or protect black women because black women don't have any allies. So, yeah, I want to talk about these topics here. Let me see what y'all said in the comments. Let's see here. The whatever. I don't even know what your name is, but I sent you a request. If there's any man that's listening to this, please, please, please debate me. Tell me exactly what I said that was stupid. Tell me exactly what I said was incorrect. Because everything that I say can be backed up by data, statistics, facts. So tell me what I said that was stupid. And that's the funny thing to me is that y'all will say, oh yeah, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. But you won't get in the box and debate me on my points because my points cannot be debated. But you're welcome to do that. I will give you a chance to speak for 2 minutes uninterrupted. But what I'm saying is you can't debate it. It's a fact. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are we talking about? Men do the majority, overwhelming majority of all violent acts and all unalivings. Not only against women, but also against each other. So it's impossible for you to debate the things that I'm saying. But I would love to have a discussion with the man if you would like to. But I would love to know exactly what topic you could debate or say that I'm stupid or say that I'm wrong on, like the person that was there who I did send a request, but of course he didn't accept the request because why would you? You know that what you are, you're losing, period. So I wouldn't accept my request either. So anyway, let's talk about these topics. Once again, number one, why is there no empathy when women are harmed or unalived by men? Men show zero empathy, none. They do not care. They find some way to blame the woman. They don't care. But when something happens to them, God forbid somebody gets with them and runs their pockets, or a woman cheats on them, or a woman does them bogus, a man is yelling everywhere to the entire world about how bad he's treated, and he wants everybody to feel for his pain. But a woman actually losing her life, that's just her fault. Number two, I wanted to talk about how can men even have the discussion that they don't believe women when women say that they're harmed by men when men are overwhelmingly known to be violent. Men are overwhelmingly known to be sexual deviants. Our men are overwhelmingly known to SA not only women, but men as well. Look at what happens in jail. Men have an opportunity to strong arm other men and make them, coerce them into actual acts. And there's no women to do it to. So what do? They do it to men. So why are we acting like we don't know these things? Number three, as I said before, Black women make up 10% of the female population, yet 59% of the unalivings of women. Why do you think that is? Do you think that's terrible? Probably not, since the world lacks empathy when it comes to Black women. Number four, I want to talk about the weakness, the buck brokenness, the weak male behavior to be a Black man and to take out your rage against Black women, but not the people that are truly oppressing you, not other men, not government institutions. You sit there, you bend over, you take it from everyone else. But when a Black woman says something to you, now you want to buck up. Now you want to get loud. Now you want to get wild. Now you want to talk about how, oh, don't talk to me like that. I'll bust you in your face. Don't talk to me like that. I'll smack you. Don't talk to me like that. I'll do this, that, and the third. But when that white T-man do something to you, you don't say nothing. George Zimmerman walking around here free and clear. But let a Black woman say something, you threatening to unalive her and put her in the dirt tomorrow. So I want to talk about the fact that, there is no real change ever going to be in the community because Black men are they're fighting the wrong person. They're fighting Black women. They're fighting their mothers. They're fighting their sisters. They're going to jail, getting out, not having a place to stay, and terrorizing their grannies, getting their grandmas unalive because of their bad criminal behavior, getting their sisters unalive, their baby mamas, and a whole host of other things. There's so many stories of that happening, coming out mentally damaged because of them making poor choices and going to prison and then unaliving their families. Black men feeling powerless in their real lives, their personal lives. And so the only way they feel like they can have power is to torment and torture and abuse the women that are so unlucky as to accept them or be in relationships with them. So, that is exactly what I want to talk about today because, and you know, as much as I would like to say that this whole like lack of empathy thing or this abuse thing is, you know, oh, because some women will say, oh, it's a black man issue. It really is not. And if you go in other spaces, you will see that the men there are also just as deranged, just as disturbed, just as disrespectful. I can't tell you, I follow a lot of true crime. I cannot tell you how many threads there are when a white T woman is unalived, that there are white T men in there rejoicing in the fact that the woman is not there anymore, making jokes. If she's attractive, they always say, oh, well, she should have been choosing a guy like me and she wouldn't be in this position. All type of crazy things. This issue is actually across all racial lines. But of course, as black women and as black people, we have things that are unique to our community. But this type of, you know, lack of empathy, psychosis is in all the races of men. And they're violent everywhere. Everywhere you go, every continent, every country, every state, city, town, that is what's happening. Men are enacting acts of violence against women, children, each other, anyone that they deem to be an easy target. So anyway, like I said, you guys, I don't want it to just be me talking. So I'm going to see if I can get some guests to come on the live panel and tell me what you think about this. If not, what I will do is, if I can't get anybody here, I will go to one of my backups and see if I can get some people to talk about it there. If not, then I'll come back a little later, maybe when people might be on TikTok Live. So, you guys, I'm going to give it like another 2 minutes. Sorry, y'all, for yawning. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes to see if I can get some people in. And if not, then I'm going to go to my backup page, which is Trigger Thoughts of a BW. I'll go do that. Yep. Anybody wants to talk about the topic on the screen, send me a request. Normally, when somebody sends me a request and we get to talking, then other people start joining. Yeah, so would like to talk about these topics here. Yeah. Okay, you guys, I'm going to give it another 60 seconds. Hopefully, we can get some people in here. I don't even mind having a man come up because maybe a man can explain where this behavior is rooted in, where this behavior is originating, and why women don't display this behavior. You know, why the majority of women do not display this type of behavior. Why this is almost majority a male behavior. Oh, no problem, PG 1908. I'm going to go live on my backup page, Trigger Thoughts of a BW, now, and see if I can get some people that will join the live on that side. Because sometimes if the numbers are low over here, it will be okay. Because I'm being shadow banned on TikTok anyway. And they have shadow banned me for a long time. Because my YouTube channel is flourishing. It's flourishing. But my TikTok, boy, they got me shadow banned so bad over here. TikTok is so racist. And, you know, and everybody talking about the TikTok ban and everything like that. But, you know, I'm sorry because I know that it helps a lot of people make money and do things, and it's helped me build up my platform on YouTube, and I've met a lot of beautiful women here, but I don't really care about TikTok like that, because TikTok is super racist, and I don't know why, like, all the black people that's acting like they so sad, like, y'all not forgetting that y'all was the same black people that was complaining, and crying about TikTok and their racist behavior and how they shadow ban creators and don't stick up for black people and let white people go and call black people the N-word and monkeys and all type of stuff on here, and they will not ban them. They will not flag their comment. But if you say something to them, they will. So like, I don't care if TikTok is gone. I really don't. I've been putting all my effort into building up my YouTube, and I could care less, really. That's the reason why my numbers are low in this live stream right now, because of that. Really, that's the reason, because they have shadow banned me, because I would do videos about, like, because they would always hit me with, like, they would take down the video. Sometimes I would appeal. They would put them back up, but then they would say they still giving me a strike for, like, talking about black fishing. You know what I'm saying? Talking about black women and the things that we experience. They would do all of that stuff and constantly take down my content and strike me and tell me that, they was going to push my stuff down and defeat and all them other warnings that they give you. So, like, now I go live. I used to get 100, 200 people, sometimes 1,000 people in, 2,000 people in on my lives. Now I'm doing all these lives and it's like 10 people in, 7 people in, 20 people in, because they got me shadow banned. So it's just like, whatever. They like, TikTok don't even alert people that I'm even going live anymore. They don't even do that. They don't even alert people that I'm going live. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and end this live, and I'm going to go live on my backup page, Trigger Thoughts of a BW, and see if I can get some more people over there. So I will see y'all. Thank you so much, PG1908, for liking the live and supporting. And yeah, see y'all. But I'm going on live on the other one underneath that. So the main theme of this is that I want to talk about why are men so violent. Good morning, Lena. Also want to talk about why is there no empathy when women are harmed by men. I want to talk about the fact that men are known to be violent, but yet there is still no empathy for women when something happens to them. Or men make excuses that they don't understand why I don't understand that woman had to do something to piss that man off. She had to do something wrong, because why would that man be violent? Why would you even ask a stupid question like that if you know that men have a tendency to be violent, a predisposition for violence? Also want to talk about it from a black woman's lens. Black women make up 10% of the female population, yet 59% of the unalivings of women. Also want to talk about people taking outrage on black women, but we got somebody up here. Hey, Lena, thanks so much. You can go ahead, Mikey.
I was just reading your background.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys. So today I would like to talk about this. What really sparked this live today is that I saw an article on IG of a white woman, actually. I felt so bad for her. She was unalived by her husband. Apparently he had been beating her for a while. They had only been married 6 months though. Her body was found in their luxury apartment, like condo or whatever, hallway, and she was actually missing a foot. And in the comments, all I saw was men talking about the fact that this is what happens to women that want to get with rich men. This is the price that they pay. And if they were to get with working men like themselves and good guys like themselves, they wouldn't be unalived like she was. And that to me was insane, because it's not like there aren't a whole bunch of millions and millions of poor men that also unalive women. Also put them in the dirt, also essay women, also do all of these things, which I thought was just really strange. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna add some more people up. The other guy left. I don't know why. I was about to let him speak because he said he was reading it. But yeah.
Hello.
Hey, you can go
Hello.
ahead if you want to, CHTV. You can go ahead.
Everything went silent. Am I connected?
Yeah, you're connected. I hear you.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
I got one thing to say. Before. I'd love to talk more on it, but I got one thing to say, especially when you mentioned like you saw these comments. I wholeheartedly believe that a lot of the most negative comments online are being pushed by like third party actors, people that aren't actually these people. And there is a push to push the most negative narratives on all of these social media platforms. And I've seen it increase, in my personal opinion, in the last like few months, where it's just like you'll go to the comments and every comment is the most ridiculous, horrible thing you've ever heard. And I really don't. I really think that something needs to be done about this. I think this needs to be brought to people's attention. That I don't trust the comments anymore. I actively, when I read a bunch of comments, I'll look for who I think are real people, and I'll notice there's a trend of just super negativity in almost every comment thread nowadays.
Okay.
So that's why I want to speak on that. But then on top of that, as far as like, I, don't get me wrong, there is a anti-woman agenda. There is a, don't complain too much. Don't, but at the same time, like as a society, when we try to look at ourselves as positive and good, and this is what a good society looks like, we usually don't say like women deserve what they get, or this is not a problem. I think for the most part we are pretty understanding that women have been getting the short end of the stick for most of history. So that's where your original post kind of caught my attention.
Okay, I mean, I definitely disagree that men have ever been understanding of women's position or plight or the things that's going on with them, because if they were, the things wouldn't be happening to women that there are right now. And it's not like it's just a certain race of man or a certain demographic of man. It's just the the the
Majority.
general consensus of how men are, which is why no matter where men are, basically they're handling women the same way. And the horrors that women experience, 9 times out of 10, they're experiencing at the hands of women. But when
Do
men
you
think
do you, do you
the most
believe
horrible things that they've experienced, most of the time it's experienced at the hands of another man.
do you believe there is an exception? Do you believe that this is truly all men, or most men, or some men?
I definitely don't think it's all men at all. Because if it was all men, then women wouldn't be able to, like, there. I mean, there are certain places and countries where women are not really allowed to be around, to go out unescorted, because men are really just getting crazy. But I think that there are some men that are not like this, or we would have complete bedlam. But then sometimes when I think about that, it could be the simple fact that in certain places, men feel like they're going to get in trouble, so they don't do it. So, but I don't think it's every single man. I don't believe in speaking in absolutes. No, I don't think every single man is bad, or a violent, unaliver or creeper. But I do think that it is more than we think, because a lot of men may do it or would do it, but they are afraid of the consequence. So I do think that there are a lot of men out there that are problematic, and a lot of them are lurking in society, just like that the Telegram chat of the 77,000 men that were there saying all of those things, because
Yes.
they're around. You don't know who they are. But no, I don't think it's every man.
Okay. I totally see where you're coming from. 100%.
All right, okay, all right. CHTV. All right, I'm gonna go down here to Jazzy Davis.
Yeah, how you doing, baby?
Hey,
Good morning.
good morning.
So I partially agree with our friend up there. There is definitely a lot of bots, and I've been paying attention to the spiritual science behind that. It's a divide and conquer, where the powers that be, they got their people in there making sure that we stay separate, and that making sure that we feel that we're hated. Like, if whether it be women issues or race issues, there's always going to be actually like what I call bots, people that really get paid to go on there and make negative comments that like is just crazy. But it does exist, and I believe it's in the spirit of divide and conquer, because if we don't get along, then we don't get together and fight the real problems, right? But with that being said, I'm a studier of the divine feminine. I've kind of taken up my sword against the patriarchy a long time ago. And when I started to realize that all of these books that they had beaten into our brains were all written by men, forcing us to submit to men and telling us that God was a man, and we just believed it because they weaponized our spiritual faith and our spiritual connection to God. So they took away our actual connection to God. Like any women that were praying, chanting, doing any spiritual magic, in connection with God, that she was just burned. They called it witchcraft. So they took away a woman's actual connection to God, and then they replaced it with a book that says God is a man and that we have to submit to a man. And we know this. We know that God is not male. We know that women came, they told us that the woman came from man's rib. Like, there couldn't be a bigger bunch of bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know for a fact with our own eyes that women give birth to men. We don't come out of their ribs. And so for them to say, well, that was the first man. Okay, so let's use science. X comes before XY.
Jazzy, let's
Yeah.
not do a religious debate or whatever. I'd rather just stay more on the topics if we could.
Right. Well, I just think there's a spiritual attachment to why this is happening. I believe that the war against women is a war against God. And that's why this is happening. That's, I believe it's a demonic interruption in the men that roots back to, religion in its foundation. It's been happening for thousands of years. Like, it's not new for them to not have empathy for us. This has been happening for thousands of years. And we're now just waking up to it and saying, hey, what the hell, man? This ain't cool.
Can I throw out my theory that kind of bridges the gap between this spiritual concept that she's bringing up and kind of more of where more people might relate to why I think things are the way they are? I'll make it quick too, because it's something I thought about a lot. Men and women are both under a power structure, and children are underneath that even further. So in a household, the child has to do whatever the parents say, and then the women have to do whatever the men say. And this is to create a momentum where the family has to do whatever the government says. And I think that has, as long as time has been the situation, why women are put in this position of being controlled, because it's ultimately a system of control that controls us all. And I really, truly believe that. I believe that's why I don't think that men are inherently evil. I don't think that women are inherently good. And I had to have a female friend kind of break that into my head. I used to think that women were just perfect beings and she's like, that's actually more sexist if you believe that. They're human beings. They could be good, they could be bad. They have all the parts of a human being that anyone else has. You have to see it that way. And it kind of continued my belief system that, basically the reason women are subjugated is because the family structure or society as a whole, however you want to see it, is subjugated by a government. And
okay, let me stop right there. I definitely don't agree with that, and I definitely I do think, just like Jazzy said, I think your friend may have a little bit of pick-me-ism that she needs to break down, because if you look at society and you look at the way men and women conduct themselves, there is a definite difference in the way men conduct themselves, the way versus women conduct themselves.
Of course.
Even men acknowledge these differences. Men tend to lead towards violence and obscene acts of behavior. And I'm not saying that there aren't any women that have not engaged in violent behavior or horrible, heinous acts, but we know that they are in the global minority compared to men, which make up the global majority of acts like this. Over 90%, and this is globally, anytime somebody's unalive, anytime somebody is raped, violently raped, all of these things, over 90% of the time, it's a man. And there's a reason for that. And it's definitely not because of a governmental structure or because of anything like that. It is something that is going on inside of the man versus what is inside of the woman. And in our previous
99%,
and in our genetic
99%, according to statistics, 99% of the violent rape offenders are male.
Yeah, that's forcible rape. Yes.
So can I throw out some other statistics? Because there is, and this is why I had to kind of come along. All right, in household situations where there's only a mother involved, there is still a good amount of abuse. It's about 56%.
No, let me be clear with the child abuse thing, because I notice a lot of times when men are faced with the fact that men commit the
majority. No, it's true. You're right. I'm not saying that men are not
I
overly...
also want to break down the child abuse thing.
But I'm just saying that
look up child abuse scenarios. The majority, even with child abuse, the majority of it is happening with a man.
No.
And if yes, these are statistical facts. And then if it's not, They say a lot of times it's the both of them together. And when women are accused of child abuse, most of the time that roots in neglect. The woman's left the child, the woman's left
That's not
to go
true.
out. That's
I
absolutely,
recently just got into a
I
debate about
recently
this and
researched it as
looked it up
well.
It's
myself.
So
situational.
post
It's
your link to it
situational with a
because
woman.
it's not true. And
It is
I think a lot of times men just can't handle the facts. The
no,
facts
I
are
agree
men.
with you. I
No,
see that men are
there's
violent.
nothing
I'm
to
not
be
saying that
said
men aren't
because
violent,
the
but I'm just
facts
saying that
are men
to
commit the majority of all violent acts. Period. Against women, against children,
are you
against
in
each
front of
other.
the
That
internet?
is
Are
a
you in
fact.
front of a
So
computer?
and it's like oftentimes y'all want to throw it away and say like,
It's not to
well,
be
you
thrown
know
away.
what?
I'm
It's,
not
it's
throwing it
like these
away.
aha moments. It's like, oh well,
It's not an
I
aha
know some
moment.
women. I know a percentage of women that do this. I know, but
It's the
even if
fact
you can
that
say
not
that,
everyone's perfect, and that's
no,
a
but it's
reality.
not the fact that it's not. I never said that women were perfect. But
I
what
know
I
you
said
didn't,
is
but
that
now you're kind of saying that like
no. What
what I'm
I'm
saying
saying
is
is a
not
fact.
valued.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute you so that you don't cut me off again. What I'm saying is this: is that men commit the majority of all violent acts. That's a fact. They commit the majority of all violent acts against children, against women, and against each other. That's a fact. So the fact that you would want to try to say that, oh well, let's talk about mothers and this and an attempt to say that like there's some type of equal dynamic in the criminality or the violence of men and women, it's not equal. Not even equal, even a little bit. It's so skewed that if you had like a balancer, it would be weighed overwhelmingly on the side of men, and it wouldn't even be moving on the other side of the scale. So that's what I'm trying to say. And eventually, when you talk to men about this, they try to find some way to get out of that. And there's no way to get out of that. There's no way bringing up mothers. There's no way bringing up this, that, and the third. Excuse me, overwhelmingly, men commit the majority of all violent acts against anyone, including children. So I'm not going to have a debate with you about something that is completely statistically and factually accurate. In order for you to try to say, "Hey, well, let's talk about women too," because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the real issue of men that commit the majority of all violent acts. That's what we're talking about. So it's just like we're not going to not talk about that.
Can I add to that?
Yeah,
I
go
did a
ahead.
study on that as well, and they found out that, and I can actually agree with this. Growing up in an abusive household, the abuse that comes from mothers is usually situational. We got to remember pressure bust pipes. So when you have a mother who might be going through postpartum and she was abandoned, like we're expecting women to do two people jobs, and then we blame the woman when she drops the ball. Pressure bust pipes. She's going to do two jobs, plus she's coming home to cook, clean, take care of kids. She's overloaded with frustration, and a lot of times on top of that, there's postpartum depression or other forms of mental illness. So the nature of a regular woman who isn't overwhelmed by a male dropping the ball is not to abuse. Most women are loving unless she's put in a bad situation or there's underlying trauma from being abused or some type of mental health care issue. That's not the nature of a woman. So a lot of men pull up statistics, like they had the one they keep pulling up that's like, oh, men are single men are better. This is what was it? I ended up doing a study with a bunch of child health psychologists for the one that they were saying single fathers are better parents. I have the video somewhere. I gotta find it and post it. But like, I had a whole bar full of child healthcare social workers that were saying that's bull. That they do these statistics and they leave out parts of it. Like they leave out the part that men are better single parents because the men are actually doing the parenting. Their mother is, their sister is, their girlfriend is. The man be at work. When a woman is a single parent, she's just a single parent. Like there's generally not anybody helping her except maybe the government, you know. So they're just it's situational statistics that they pull up and pressure bust pipes when a woman is abusive towards her children, there's underlying issues that are generally caused by a male.
Can I ask a
And
question?
generally has to do with him dropping the ball and not helping and her just being overwhelmed, overtired, and going through mental health care issues.
Okay, all right, Jazzy, thank you for that. Did you had something to say, Ty?
Yeah, I have a question. So,
Okay.
just listening to both of y'all. So, is it a consensus that men are naturally 100% violent and women are not, unless men did something wrong to them?
Okay,
No.
so let me say this. I did not say that. I did not say that there aren't some women that are violent and that
No,
would do a
she just
violent
did.
act. I
She
don't
just
think that
did.
she just
I
unmuted
said
herself and said
generally.
no.
I said
She
generally. It's
said,
not the nature of a woman to be violent
see,
unless
that's
there's
what I just
underlying
said.
healthcare
It's
issue.
not,
It
see,
is the
that's what
Okay,
nature
I
of a
just
man to
said.
be violent. His whole
okay.
purpose in creation is to be violent.
Okay,
That,
Ty. I think that a lot of times I don't understand why men get upset about these things when y'all admit these things about each other quite often.
I'm not upset. I'm just
I
saying.
don't understand it. If you looking at the behavior of men versus women, looking like you know logically at what's going on, the numbers and the data and everything, what would you think if you compare women versus men on who's more likely to behave in a violent manner?
Men.
So I don't that's all we're saying. Nobody said that
Nope.
women never
So
do that.
no, I. She did. She literally just said it.
You
She
just said she
confirmed it.
didn't.
She confirmed it. She said naturally women do not unless they're going through PTSD or a man did something wrong to them. So that's
No,
why
what
Yes,
I
she
asked.
said is
generally,
women
the word I
generally are
used was generally.
predisposed to not acting out violently. I think
He's
that we
cherry
all
picking
know
my
that.
words. He's
Yes,
cherry picking my
I know he
words.
is.
Yeah.
We're all saying that women generally don't act out. It's not normally in a woman's nature to behave in a violent manner. That's why you don't see women doing it often. Even when they should, like in other countries like Afghanistan and India, where women are extremely oppressed, when they should just start going off the deep end and start poisoning people and unaliving them, they don't do it because
Right.
women
With all the
generally
people
don't
used to
lead to
have.
that type of behavior.
Yeah. They could have set it off a long time ago with all the
Yes, but
access to
women don't
weaponry they
normally
have,
do
but they
that.
don't.
Yes, and men
And they
rely
should.
on that. They rely on women that not being their nature to behave like that. Because I can
It's called
guarantee you that
weaponized love.
if women were somewhere oppressing men to the degree that women are oppressed in certain countries, that men would have been stepped up and started, putting women in the dirt. That's just the truth. Did you have something else to say, Ty? Because I didn't mute you. You muted yourself. If you had something else to say,
Yeah, I was muting so I can give respect to everyone.
okay, go
My,
ahead, sir.
no, I'm just listening as of right now. I don't agree with everything y'all saying. I agree with some. I don't agree with everything y'all saying.
Okay, I got you. I got you. You don't have to agree with everything. I don't want you to think that this is an echo chamber and you have to. Um, but yeah, so anyway, let me go ahead and read the questions again. Like I said, I wanted to talk about number one, why is there no empathy towards women when they're harmed by men? Why is there a lack of understanding or somehow it's managed to be put on the woman what has happened to her? Number two, I wanted to talk about, which we're already talking about right now, the men being known to be violent and people acting like they don't understand, like that is a fact and what's going on all over the world. And also, I wanted to talk about more specifically when it comes to Black women. You know, Black women are of course not respected, and no one cares. But Black women make up 10% of the female population here in the United States, yet they make up 59% of the murders of women. And I think that's very notable because the majority of the people that are committing those crimes against them, putting them in the dirt, are Black men. And we're here, when Black people have these conversations, all we talk about is things that have nothing to do of any type of importance. And number four, I wanted to talk about the fact that a lot of this is rooted in, cowardice. Black men are being oppressed, of course, and they are, too afraid to fight against who's their real oppressor. So they are taking their frustrations and their anger and their rage out on Black women, and it is resulting in Black women not being here anymore. Um, yeah. So those are
Okay,
the four
so
topics.
number one, I don't agree that there's no empathy for the harming of women. I think there's an overwhelming amount of empathy and an overwhelming amount of resources for women in abusive situations. So
What's the
I don't get.
resources?
They have all different type of women's shelters. They have all different type of things.
Though there are so many women being abused, a lot of times their women don't even have a resource to go to a shelter because they're full.
Okay,
There
I'm
aren't
not
a
sure
lot of
where you
resources
are.
for women that are of abuse because there are so many women that are abused. That's not true at
I'm
all.
not sure where you are, but I know in my area because I volunteer at a lot of them. There are plenty of women's
Okay,
shelters
name
with
me three
availabilities.
shelters that you volunteered at and where they located.
I stay in Michigan.
Okay, give me three shelters that you
Do I know them by name? I
volunteered at.
work through. So I volunteered through Forgotten Harvest, and we go through to different women's shelters. Do I know
Which
their
women's
names?
shelters?
No.
Because they're all full. They are all full, and I know that for sure. Because we have people
In
leaving out of
Michigan?
town that I've tried to rehome here in New Orleans, and they've had to send them to other states to find home women's abuse
And
shelters.
you're telling me in Michigan they're full.
We're asking you to name 3 that are not full, so we can reference.
Once again, I worked through Forgotten Harvest. Do I know the names of the women's shelters? No. But do we
Then how
go
do you know
there?
they're not
Yes.
full if you don't even know the
Because
names
we
of them? That sounds like cap to me, sir.
I think so
It sounds
too.
like you're just excusing
so wait,
things.
so it's cap because I worked through Forgotten Harvest where
But
we
you
go
don't know
to
the names
different
of the
women's
women's shelters.
You're
And we're
right, and I
telling
can't
you
name
women's shelters are full.
you every market we go to
You
get
can't
food
even
for a
name
reason.
one. You name one, sir. Name one
You're right.
women's shelter in Detroit. Because
You're
I
right.
was living in
You're
Detroit.
right.
I was living in Detroit, and I had to go to Windsor, Ontario, Canada, to get to an abused women's shelter. So, like I said again, sir, that sounds like cap.
You're right.
Name 3 shelters that have
I just said I can't.
availability for
I just
women
said I
in
can't.
abuse situations.
It's just I think that this is once again another reason why there won't be any gap being bridged is because you have someone making an assumption or a claim about something that isn't even accurate, and women are trying to tell you, and you're not listening, and you don't even remember any of the supposed shelters that you volunteered at or worked in. It just doesn't make any sense, and you use
What
a
doesn't make
shelter,
sense
and you
is
use a
this
shelter where
platform
women are
is
run,
here
and you use a
to
shelter,
hate men instead of
excuse me, stop it. And you use a shelter that most of the time these
y'all
shelters are
just want
run
to be
by women
victims
and
though
started
instead
by
of
women.
coming up.
If you unmute yourself again, you can go ahead and either drop or I'll drop you
Yeah, I
yourself.
will. I'll drop
Okay,
because
so
this
let
is
me go
just hate.
ahead. Go ahead. Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye bye, sir. Mm-hmm. Because once again, like I said, it's just like you and the other guy that just left. Y'all getting y'all feelings about things that are completely the case. Y'all say that y'all can come up here and y'all say that y'all know. Oh, I understand. I agree, but then y'all don't. Y'all end up getting in y'all feelings and y'all start getting upset and y'all start getting triggered. And that just lets me know that everything that I'm saying is the truth. And it's like y'all want to try to make this pretend thing like, oh, there's a lot of empathy shown towards women that are in abusive situations. That is a complete lie. Period. And
And
the
once you
majority
point
of
out
the
a
shelters,
situation,
and I've been
they
in
deem it
multiple
as hate.
shelters that I've seen, and most of those are being run by women. So what are we talking
Right.
about? But go ahead, Jazzy.
Once you point out a situation, I don't know if you've noticed, but like anytime you point out a situation that's a problem, they deem it as hate. Oh, you hate men. We're pointing out a clear issue. And I knew he was full of shit because I had when I was living in Detroit, I had tried to find shelter and had to go to Canada. Now I'm living in New Orleans and we have girls that need shelter and we got to send them to Tennessee. So I know there's no room in the shelters. I know the shelters are full. These men are just making up stuff.
He ain't
And
never,
doesn't,
girl. He ain't never volunteered nowhere. I can guarantee you that.
yeah,
He
he's
ain't
full of shit.
volunteered in no women's shelter.
Okay. Do you have diapers? Yes, he needs to leave here
Oh
for
my
3 hours.
goodness.
Yes.
Just straight lying. But anyway, like I was saying, I listen, if you're a man, you cannot take this topic personally. You cannot. If you look at anytime a woman is harmed, how men are talking about they don't believe her, they need more proof. What did she do? Did she say something to him? Did she get smart with him? What did she do that was her fault? I remember it was a woman that got unalived because this guy at her job liked her. And he was he liked her or whatever, and she told him no, and I guess she supposedly the thing was that she laughed at him. I saw so many YouTube videos since people want to talk about bots and stuff like
I
that
got the girl right
he's been
here that
able
had to
to.
go all the way to Tennessee. She just came in my door as we were talking. What happened when you're trying? She's been trying to find a place to stay now for I don't know how many months. Her kids are here to verify. How long have y'all been trying to get into a shelter?
For like 4 years straight.
Yeah. And how far did you have to go?
Way to Tennessee. And then they went at their shelter, they was taking all the funds that we were supposed to get and giving it to their family members, taking the gifts and everything.
Yeah.
They were supposed to give us our allowance, girl. We never got the
This guy trying to say the shelters aren't full.
Who said that?
This fool. Me and the girl are just
I just
tag
called
teaming.
the shelter.
She just called the shelter.
They told me they were full. Called try back Monday. I called Monday. They told me they was empty, but they got slots in.
They sent her all the way to Memphis.
Then they told me they can't put a nigga on the wait list. How you can't put us on the wait list?
Yeah. Yep. He's full of shit.
You know
All
what?
right.
Somebody in the comments, well, let's see here. I think that was Justified Poet. And hey, how you doing, Justified Poet? She said that that man has been doing community service, court mandated. That's the only reason why he volunteered anywhere, because the court
Yeah,
mandated.
probably for abusing women. Probably for abusing women. And you know what? It just reminds me, there's a news article here in Louisiana. I can think of two different things, but one lady, right? She just went to prison because she been living in a domestic abuse situation for I don't know how many years, like whatever many years with her husband, right? This man pew-pewed her in her face. She lost an eye, and he didn't go to jail. He did not go to jail. So they're going through a divorce, right? So she finally meet up with him at the courthouse, and she pew-pews him and unalives him, right? Now she's in jail. Now nobody seemed to care that she's missing an eye and half of her damn face. You know what I'm saying? We got another girl out here in the French Quarter. The man stopped to ask for her phone number. She said no. He unalived her. This happened last month. So, there's
All right.
overwhelming evidence.
All right, I want to respond to Ty in the comments. Like I said, sir, I think it's very, very telling. I think that most of y'all do that. Y'all always end up exposing yourself and just showing that y'all true character, acting like y'all understand. You being in the army, then I'm sure that you're full aware of the violence of men and the things that you've been taught. So let's be real here, all right? And why are you even still in here? If you got down, you dropped down because you couldn't, keep your mouth shut and you don't have any self-control, but you expect me to think that you're going to have some self-control against a woman and not punch her face in if she gets on your nerves when you can't even control yourself in a public platform. You can't, I did not kick you. You left on your own. You cannot even control yourself in a public platform with women that you do not know. I refuse to believe that you control yourself in your personal life. You have zero self-control, Ty, and that's something that you need to work on. And that's exactly what I was trying to say, is that men, overwhelmingly are undisciplined. Nobody's playing victim. And I think that y'all hear words, but y'all lack the comprehension and the intelligence to really understand what you're saying. You just regurgitate something that somebody else said. Women are victims. They are being attacked by men overwhelmingly. The biggest threat a woman will ever have is a man. That's a fact, sir. Like, what are you talking about, victims? But men are also victims of other men. Men get unalived by men the most. If you want to look at the actual the demographics and statistics of when men are unalived by men the majority of the time. And actually, most of the unalivings that you commit y'all kill men more than you kill women. If you didn't know that. So I don't understand how you would be a bigger victim to me. So yeah, let's talk about that. But anyway, I don't know how it's male hate, to tell the truth. It's not male hate for me to say that men are violent. That's a fact. It's not a hate for me to say that men commit the majority of all SA, all grape, all unalivings, and the majority of all crimes in general. That's a fact, sir. That's a fact. And I knew that red pill was gonna come out talking about without us that y'all wouldn't have rights. Well, without y'all, we wouldn't have to worry about having rights for them to be taken away or given. Y'all are in control of both of those things. So what are you talking about? You're not doing any favors. It's like if I went in your house and I stole all of your money. And then I gave it back to you and said, you should be lucky. The only reason why you got that money back is because of me. It's because of me. Well, okay. You're the one that took it in the first place. You're a weirdo. Go ahead, Justify Poet. Go ahead, sis.
So I had to move away from my kids because the ignorance called me. I'm usually down in the comments in the bushes, but right now, I hope you hear me. Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you good. I hear you good, sis.
Yeah. So I'm usually in the bushes, but the ignorance kind of called to me because it's really sad that a lot of times men push back when they say, oh, it's when we say men are violent, men are hurting, men are whatever. and they want to push back, and a lot of them will be like, not all men, not all men, not all men, because that's the stance that he started off with. But the whole point is he just proved himself even more in the comments, because first he came up to the panel to be contradictory. He was contradictory, and then after he got pushed down to the bottom, he started responding ignorantly. Now he's saying we're victims. Why are there so many women talking about these issues if it wasn't an issue? I mean, and that's one of the main things where they don't understand. They're the ones that are being blind, and then they're fighting back before they even listen.
He's not blind. He knows exactly what's going on. And what's funny is this. He's a black man. So to even say this shit is funny because you're a buck broken boy. You are the conquered fucking male species, baby. Why are you even talking? Go somewhere. Go to the plantation. Go somewhere so Massa could bend you over, love. Because you don't got no space to talk as a black man. You can't call nobody a victim. You was the first one, love. I know you're not talking because y'all love to talk about how, life is so hard for you as a black man. You are a perpetual victim to the so-called system. If one more damn black man talk about how hard it is for him being a black man in America, I'm going to scream. Y'all are the fucking victims. Y'all want to be the victims. You want to be coddled. You want to be baby. You want everybody to hold your ass up. While you want to call the black women that are holding you up victims. I hope a cop pulls your ass over today, sir. And you better not look for anybody to help you.
And the crazy part is he is the problem, and he's not even seeing it. He's showing it right now with his responses, with his actions, with his whole being in a space where we're having conversation, and he decides he wants to still stay and be ignorant in the comment section after he was even dropped from the panel. He's showing how ignorant he is. He's showing that he's the one of the men that we have to be careful of. I'm sure he's probably put his hand on this something in his past or whatever the situation is, and probably want to overlook that and want to make excuses. He's a low tier man.
I mean, I definitely agree. And you know what I think? I think that it's very unusual that these men come up here, and I think it's like a perfect, it's actually, they don't understand. They're proving my point every time because they're the ones that lurk and that hide. So, you have the guys that will come and say, oh, I'm a good guy. I'm a good man. Why are you ignoring me? Why don't I have any women that are interested in me? The black women only want these type of men and that type of men because they're overlooking me. But nonetheless, they are always living in this false illusion of the type of man that they really are. Like Ty came up here like, oh yeah, I understand some of the perspective and the things that you were saying, but soon as somebody actually challenged what he said with that, and it wasn't that I challenged him with my opinion, I challenged him with like actual facts. He had a meltdown and couldn't control himself. And I think that he's a perfect example that a lot of men have a problem with self-control. A lot of men have a problem with respecting women. And that is the exact reason why y'all are out here always doing things to women and hurting women, because y'all are mentally unstable. A lot of y'all are mentally unstable, and y'all rely on the fact that women don't respond that way to still be that way. But I tell you right now, I have a concealed carry. Y'all just better be glad it's not me, because I don't play like that. Unstable men, you never want to play like that with me, because I'm gonna give you the exact same energy you give me. But go ahead, Lena.
Hi, good morning.
Hey.
To everybody. I agree with all the women on the panel, and just like Justified, I'm usually in the comments as well, but Ty just triggered me in a way where I just had to get up here and say that, like you said, it's all men till it's no men. And just with everything that's going on in the world right now, like the young lady that was just unalived by the uncle, it's like it's showing you all these different news stories that are showing us that men do not protect women and they do not protect children. And yet he's up here saying that his woman loves him. If your wife truly loved you, then you wouldn't be up here crashing out. You would not be on this live going off the way that you are. It's not all women. We see daily that it's most men that are committing these crimes. It's barely the women at all. And I also wanted to speak to the fact that men, whenever you bring up a situation where it's speaking about men and their behaviors, they always want to say, oh, well, women do it. And then they always want to claim to be the good guys, but then they're always up here crashing out. And like you said, it's always proving your point every time. And they walk into it every single time. And it's just so frustrating that they do not listen to women. They're always telling us that they're the reasons why we have rights. So then that should show you exactly what the prompt is talking about. There is no empathy for women if we had to fight to even be able to speak. And that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for letting me up.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I definitely agree with everything that you said. I have no idea why they even act like the idea of saying that you gave another human being that's on the same level as you rights to do anything. That's not a positive. That you don't get a gold star for that. You don't, that's like, hey, I see somebody and I give them something to eat and I say, oh, you should be happy that I gave you something that you have that is a basic human right that you were supposed to get. That you don't get any cookies for saying that you gave women rights, or you, oh, you know what, we're the ones that stopped it being legal to beat y'all, we did that. Okay, what part of that should we be thankful for? Weirdo. Like he's a definite weirdo. Like he's a nut job. Go ahead, Caramel Mermaid, you can go ahead, sis.
Oh, okay. Um, real quick. Um, real quick. Long story short, I find it very odd he's on here talking about what he's talking about, but then also he's military. If I'm not mistaken, it's military is like the second profession that is known for knocking their spouse between the washer and the dryer, like right
Yeah,
behind a police
girl,
officer.
I wasn't even gonna say that. I didn't want to be rude because
No,
I told him that he was in the army. I said, I know you crazy. I already know
yeah,
you crazy.
yeah,
Cause them military men be going nuts. I didn't see
yeah.
it with my own eyes.
They're known for, especially army. They're known for knocking their women between washer and dryers.
Yep, and police
Um,
officers.
yep. And then also, he said he
50% of
volunteered
police
at
wives, sorry to
those.
interrupt you. Sorry. 50% of police wives reported domestic abuse at home. Just wanted to say that was the statistic. That's just the ones that were reported. Okay, I'll shut up. Sorry about that.
Rowdy.
Oh,
See?
no.
Mm-hmm.
Give facts, give out numbers. Give it
I
to
just
me.
didn't want to
Give it to
interrupt,
me.
but I also didn't want to forget.
Thank you,
Sorry.
sis.
Thank you. You cool. You cool. But yeah, that's the only thing I want to say about that. And he's like, I have a wife. My wife loves me. Sir, if you hear harassing women, your wife really don't love you or you don't love her. You should be taking care of home. Like, do any of these men that be claiming they're married on these panels be listening to that song by Dave Hollister talking about take care of home? They need to go on Spotify and just kind of listen to that song and put it heavily on repeat. But yeah, that's the only thing I had to say. I had to point that out. Like, sir, you say you in the military. Yeah, you known for knocking your spouse between the washer and dryer. But that's one thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna be in the bushes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much for coming up, Caramel Mermaid. All right, you can go ahead, supervillain.
Like I haven't seen you in a while. How you
Yeah, hey,
doing?
how you doing, sis?
I am well. I'm happy to be here. Always a great time in your space. I just wanted to come up and say a few points specifically to I know we were talking about the army guy, but just jobs in general of men and how they harm women. I first want to say it's so funny to me when men come up here and talk about, or just in general, come to panels and talk about how women aren't qualified or shouldn't be in certain positions. But these same men, when they're in these positions of quote unquote actually protecting or providing, are harmful. We just quoted that cops are abusive. I think Reddit room or something just was discovered with firefighters trading pictures of unalived women and rating them from least attracted to most attracted. These are people who are supposed to save us from fires trading pictures of unalived women. They just did a report about how many healthcare workers who are male that have done crimes like videotaping women in their most vulnerable point, like when they're under, like the dentist, if you're under laughing gas or if you're under anesthesia. I just want to bring to the point that a lot of these men, even though they like to play the percentage game, right? Because they'll say, oh, that's only 1 out of 10 men. But 10 men have access to like hundreds of thousands of women, especially if they're in a position where they're supposed to be doing something like a cop, a firefighter, a dentist, a doctor.
Absolutely.
Um,
Power corrupts absolutely. So
yes,
anybody in power is going to be corrupted.
exactly. And that's the thing. They like to play the numbers game, which is, trickery, because they'll say, oh, only 1 out of 7, which only isn't, it's a terrible way to put it. But that doesn't mean that one man out of 7 don't have access to hundreds of women and they're doing harmful things. So I don't know. That's just a point that I like to bring up that I've noticed a lot of people don't talk about. So I just wanted to put it in the air, see how y'all feel about it. These men that are in, because they like to say it's Pookie and Ray Ray, but it's men being harmful to women that are doctors,
They
lawyers.
always love to use it's the thugs, it's the pookies, it's the ray rays, because that they have to paint a picture for you so you'll never think it's the blue collar man, it's the lawyer, it's the doctor. They don't ever want you to think that. It's
Exactly.
it's a gaslighting tactic.
And it's
But it's
also
all men.
and it's also a grooming process because they want you to have complete trust in men in those higher
Exactly.
positions where those men are likely the most dangerous because they have the most access to women and women have their guard down.
She just said is facts. That's why he said he had a wife. This is why men say this, and a lot of them lie. A lot of them will claim that they're married or they got a girlfriend, and they do this. This is a way to say, well, some woman trusts me, so I must be good. Some woman's listening to me, so I must be good. Like, this is a tactic that they use. That's why he was down there talking about his wife like him. He doesn't have a wife. They like to do that to say, well, a woman trusts me, so you women are just bitter and upset and mad and victims. Like, it's oh my god. I didn't
Sure,
see
but
so
even
much. I already know.
they be having wives and still doing this. We just discovered that chat room with
They do.
70,000 men, right? Wanting to trading tips on how to hurt women in their lives. We just
Or
had
right
this
before
case in
that, the woman
Paris.
from France. The
Yeah,
woman
the
from
woman,
France.
exactly. She's married to her husband for 50 years. Uh, and this is the thing. This is why when I say all men, I used to get pushback early on this app, but I'm seeing that it's really women are starting to realize, which I'm so happy. That's why when I say all men, and I know some of y'all like to say all men till it's no men, all men, and we all know it's not all men. No, I mean all men. They all have the potential to do this type of degeneracy. It's just some people have, or rather, some men have a longer propensity to withhold the degeneracy. It's absolutely positively all men, and the ones that you trust the most is likely the one that's going to harm you. I didn't make this up. It doesn't feel fun to say this. Statistics, actual data prove that point.
Okay, ladies. I agree with everything that y'all are saying. I don't have any pushback for anything y'all saying. I just wanted to talk about, did y'all know, or what do y'all think about the statistic that black women make up 10% of the female population here in the United States, and yet we make up 59% of the unalivings of women?
Yes. Yes. That's why there is a femicide on black women and girls. It is ridiculous. And the fact that black men do not care. They don't care at all. They'll try to debunk it and try to fight you and try to blame. They'll blame us. Like, that's exactly what they doing to that baby. What is her name? Zanaya? I can't.
Yeah, I think I know
Zanaya
what you're talking
Harris.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
because what was she like? She was
She
either 12, 12,
Yes, she
12.
was a
was 12.
baby.
Her mother, her aunt knew that this man that she got involved with was a convicted pedophile, and
Yes.
still was sending her with this man and letting her not even just letting her be around this man, but sending her with this man.
And she got kids with him too.
Yeah, she
So
got
she
5 kids. She
had.
was pregnant. She was
Oh my
pregnant
god.
at the same time as the little girl was. That's why the unaliving happened, because the
Mm-hmm.
little girl was pregnant, and they wanted to conceal the pregnancy. It's all coming out now.
Yes. And
Is
The,
the
now
the
is
they
is
can't
sad
the
part
find that
aunt
though,
is
baby.
Dad.
the aunt locked up too, or no?
These people
No,
are calling that girl
only the man is
fast.
locked up. The aunt needs to be locked up. They got to. They have to have some charges on it.
She
Ain't
did
no
help
way.
him.
But they haven't locked her up yet, and I don't know why. But they locked up the friend, the guy that works with him. He's in jail clothes when he's testifying. So I don't know what the charges are, but I'm hoping that it is some type of accessory, because I truly believe that he was doing stuff too. Because listen, one thing I know about men, and I got all brothers, right? When they are not with the stuff that you're doing, they gonna speak against it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knew this man lifestyle. This man was calling the house to the aunt to send the two little girls down, the 9-year-old and the 11-year-old, to hang out with the two men. Talking about they coming to clean the shop. I'm not buying it. I think that man was in on it, and I think he know exactly where that little girl is. Wherever her body is, I think he know. And I absolutely, the day that she went missing, the two of them took a drive from Detroit to Ypsilanti. Ypsilanti is an hour away,
A
right?
drive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you driving with this little 12-year-old girl? What the hell? Like,
That the aunt, she allowed it to happen. A lot of pick-me's, and this has been a thing for a long time. They will allow a man that they are with or that they know personally to grape little girls in their care for favors.
she's still sending him money in jail.
Exactly. So she is a pick me, and this is why I say that pick me's are dangerous,
Yep.
because she allowed him to do whatever he wanted with that girl, and who knows about the children that were also living in that home that he also made with her, because a lot
He
of
gave
these
one of
men,
his 4-year-olds an
they
STD.
have
He gave the
kids
4-year-old.
to harm them. These predators will purposely have children, so they always have a supply of victims.
Did you see
So,
the picture of the lady?
oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah. He got the 4-year-old. He gave the 4-year-old chlamydia.
oh, I heard that, and this is why I'm
Yeah.
like, why are they not also checking on those other children? All the children that have ever been around him needs to be checked.
I don't know, but it's definitely generational trauma. Like that's what I get out of it. The mother, the grandmother, the aunt, they've all been sexually abused from very young ages. And I think what happened is they normalized it. And we see this in religious cultures and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, where the women are given away as child brides and stuff like that. When you ask the women, oh, don't you realize you're being abused? They don't get it. They don't get it because it's been normalized, because they've been groomed from such a young age that they don't see it as such a big tragedy as the rest of the world who's never been abused
Block it.
looks at it. You know what I'm
Block it.
saying? So I can't hate the women, but I can say that you at this point knew that when you chose that man, you know what I'm saying, you set these children up. This little girl was unalive because you sent her. Not only did you expose her to a known pedophile, but you sent her with him. And she knew. They all knew that little girl was pregnant. She was asking the man to buy her back. Girl, I've been so deep in that story. Like, I've been so emotionally attached to that story. But that's just, yeah. And when you get back onto your topic of it being the BLK women, absolutely. And I do believe that one of the main reasons is because the BLK community was so attacked by racism for hundreds of years. Like, I mean, I'm almost 50, so I can actually remember when, like, my family's mixed. And I can remember when, like, my aunt, who's mixed, my mom's what they call poisson blanc, but my aunts look more black, right? I can remember when my aunt would walk up to the car to talk to I remember the treatment of the black women in my family in comparison. I remember the way black people were treated. So you're dealing with a community of women that were treated like they ain't nothing for a very long time. And that's generational trauma. That's going to take a very long time to shake loose. And thank God black women are, you know, strong enough and resilient enough that they've been doing an excellent job of shaking loose of the mindset that they were given, that they weren't attractive enough, that they were this, they were that, and just absolutely shitted on. But the men also were, and they took it out on the women because that was the only place they had to vent their anger and rage. Like you said, they were afraid to rage against the machine. As men are, we see it. It's not just a black male thing. We see so many men of every race get dominated by, you know, political. Even the white people, there were so many white people that weren't racist, but they didn't choose to defend the black people out of fear. And a lot of times they went along with the lynching and all of that stuff because they were afraid if they didn't go along that they were going to be attacked. So this just the mindset of fear and violence, fear that breeds violence, and not always are people particularly in their own personal heart part of the hate, but the fear that's in their heart, the cowardice that's in their heart allows them to be rolled along with the masses. And that's unfortunately what's happening with the black woman. From my perception, is that we just got a society full of a lot of people that come from generational trauma that haven't even begun to start fixing it. Only some, and I live in the hood. I've been in the hood my whole life. I can say there's very few people that are trying to fix the generational trauma. Whatever was happening 50 years ago when I was a kid in the hood is still happening. And even though we don't got the white people walking around dropping the N-bomb anymore, we still got the black people using it. And they're not realizing it's rooted in a place of hate. So I see them talking to their children, look, N-bomb.
Hey, Jazzy, are you black?
I'm mixed.
Okay. You have a black dad, or?
Both my parents are, well, my dad is mixed with German, Irish, Egyptian. My mom is black, white, and native.
Okay, all right.
And I was raised with my black family, and that's why I say I see it in my own family, in my own community. The words of hate still being used.
Yeah, I think like black like that. I think we'll try to stay away from conversations about the N-word and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
prefer
it's
you not.
oppressive language that is just normalized, and it's part. I think it's part of I think it's definitely part of the issue that we're just not.
I just prefer you not speak on that, because that's something that's not in your your pay grade to talk about.
Trigger, can I just point out one thing of contention?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say the fair thing is a bunch of BS. Black men have unalived their community more than anyone in the whole entire of the KKK. They are not afraid to unalive anybody. They just are not attacking the right people. They're attacking their own community. They're attacking their own women. So I'm just gonna have a contention about their living in fear. I guess with the men and how racism is going, because they don't have a problem with unaliving. That's for sure. It's just they're attacking the wrong people. I just want to throw that out
super
there.
villain, I think that's the reason why I had asked her if she was black or not. Because I think sometimes there's a disconnect with people that are not black. They could be multiracial or biracial. There's a difference in understanding. That's why I asked at that particular interjection.
Yes,
So
Trigger.
and the whole N-word discourse and all of that. That's why I asked, because I knew that there was some type of disconnect happening at that point, because I didn't know before then. I thought she was black like everybody else on the panel, or
Those
I
are women
wouldn't.
that I grew up with, that even my mother addressed
Yeah,
me
but
as. She addressed all
but
the
still,
households, and that's why I have a problem.
yeah, but still, with once again, like I said, without you being a black woman, I don't feel comfortable with you speaking on issues in the black community or black women and the things that black women face, because you're not a black woman.
So my mother being a black woman is why I spoke on it, because when my mother would come in the room, she would not just segregate me and point to everybody.
Okay, but once again, you're not a black woman, ma'am. So you can't speak on something that you're not. I don't allow people to do that. Now, maybe other people do in other lives, but I don't. If you're not a black woman, even when I do conversations about the black community, if I let black men come up, even though supervillain seen it, we may tear them up or whatever, but we allow them to speak if they're black men. But if you're not a black person, I'm not going to allow you to speak about anything that's associated
I'm
with
not
the black
allowed to say
community.
it's a word rooted negativity, is what you're saying.
Ma'am, you're
Okay.
already crossing a boundary.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna drop her because
that's
she
the
don't get
point,
it.
You're
Trigger.
triggered. What about
Trigger,
the one drop
hold on, that's the
rule?
point.
I don't.
You're crossing a boundary. You're not respecting what a black
Before you
woman
guys
is
speak,
saying. You're crossing a
I'm gonna let
boundary.
both of you guys speak just a second. I just wanted to say this because I do upload these to YouTube. I just want everybody to know something here, and I want to be clear. Other lives, right? With other black people, they play those one drop games. And they play those multiracial, your mama got a drop of black blood, so now I'm looking at you like you're black. I don't do that here. I never will. I never will play those type of games. If you're not a black woman, you're not speaking on black women, period. You're just not doing it. You're not speaking on the black community. You're not giving your experience on the outside looking in on what you think black people should be doing or what you think black people have done or did because you grew up in the hood or because you were around black people, which is all the things that ignorant people say, because not all black people have the experience of living in the hood. So that doesn't make you an expert on black people, because I didn't grow up in the hood. I've been open with this. I didn't grow up in the hood. I grew up in the suburbs with both of my parents who were married. I don't have that experience. So does that mean that because I have a black mama, a black daddy, two black grandparents on both sides, two black great grandparents on both sides, does that mean that I'm not black? That does not what it means. So stop attributing the struggle to black people. That's all I have to say about that. Not saying that you can't be a black person and live in the hood, because you can, but that's not all that we are. And once again, and like the defensiveness that she got when she got called out for not being black, and she still wanted to speak and still wanted to give her perspective. All of that is the reason why I don't let them in. Period. Like, I don't. Now, sometimes I let biracial women speak. You got a black daddy. I understand you understand a part of being black, but at the end of the day, you still don't understand everything. So, like I said, it's a very nuanced thing, but you coming up here and you not black at all, like, be for real. And you talk about, there's like a drop of black blood of in here, so I get to speak. No, you don't. I'm sorry. Anybody who doesn't like that, I'm sorry. You just gonna have to be mad at me, because I don't do that. I don't. I'm sorry, because those people always want to speak when it comes to these type of things, but are not. Y'all get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm gonna let you ladies speak. Go ahead. I'll let Freestyle go first, and then Super Villain, and then y'all can go. I'm sorry. I just didn't mean to speak over y'all, but I just wanted to have that clear, what I really believe, because I just don't play like that. I don't. You don't get to come up here and pretend. And I think that she knew that I thought that she was black, but once again, it's such a disconnect. Some of the things that she was saying, I knew she wasn't black, but I didn't want to be rude. I was like, you're not giving me black vibes, black woman vibes, because if you were, you wouldn't be talking so dumb right now. You wouldn't be talking so foolish. And so I'm not surprised that I was right. At all.
And I bet you she probably feel away, but guess what? Black people question other black people's blackness all the time. So get over that, baby.
They sure do.
If you really black, you know that. You know that. For real. You shouldn't even get mad about it. That's just a part of the culture.
Exactly.
For real. And I'm glad that this was brought up, because I am unpacking that as well, because I was also one of them people that's like, oh, they got a black mom, they got a black dad, they got some black in them. They black. And no, that perpetuates that one drop rule, which is definitely racist as hell. So yeah, it's some unpacking we got to do. It's some unpacking we got to do as black people, because we really just let anybody come into the cookout. We really do. We really do, y'all. We got to do better.
I'm glad that you pointed that out.
All right.
Because I even picked up on microaggressions, and I'm like, something don't feel right. But it was more to, because I was trying to get to number 3, but she was being so rude. It's statements like the one she was making, it just was so off. And it's the reason why number 3, people don't understand the femicide rate of black women, right? They'll even look at the percentage and not understand the actual numbers, like are real people in real life. Somebody's mother, sister, grandmother, aunt, niece, daughter, right? These are real people. For us to be 10% and be 40, or what is it, 54% of the unaliveness?
59%.
That is, I mean, and then you go around on this app and they'll tell you black femicide rate is not real. That's the part that irks my nerve the most. And I completely understand what you're saying, Triggered. And that's because we have people talking on topics that they should not be talking on, at least from the experience of black women. Come on, she said black men are afraid to do what the black Triggered. Let me go back to the work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, girl. And it's funny because, I'm very sensitive to energies, and when she first came up, it was already an off energy. Like, to be honest with you, the way she was talking and interjecting and the things that she was saying, I was just like, But she was a woman, and I clicked on her picture because at first I was like, no, I don't think she black at all. But when I had looked at her picture, I was like, oh, well, maybe she black, maybe she just light skinned, maybe I'm tripping. But I normally would have went to her profile for an investigation, but I can't do that since I'm the host. So I was like, all right. But when she just kept on talking, I was just like, okay, all right. Now I know the deal. You definitely, yeah, and no, she was definitely not a mod. And I always have a problem with people that it's the first time you've been on my platform. I don't know you. I never talked to you, and you just start interjecting and talking over everybody else. I think that's kind of rude. Like you don't even know me. Now it'd be different if you were like a person that always came on my lives and stuff. Then that's no problem. I don't be tripping. But I just met you, and this is what you're doing. I don't know, but it really wasn't that because I've had other people do that before, and not really had it be not really tripped about it, but it was just the things that she was saying. And then it's just like, how are you gonna not be black and then talk about the N-word and how it should be used and what should be going on? That just let me know right there she wasn't black. Cause it's just like, what are you talking about? But I don't want to keep talking about her and make it like where I'm beating her down because I'm not even mad. I just simply have a boundary of that can't go on. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I just have a boundary that's not gonna it's not tolerated. I don't allow non-black women to speak on black women issues, and I don't allow non-black people to speak on black people issues. Like that's just to me disrespectful. Even though I do know a lot of black people allow that stuff to go on, but I just don't play like that. Go ahead, VJ. Let me.
Hello.
Hey.
So I'm answering the prompt first. Interesting prompt. Number one, I believe that they don't because they never did. Number two, they have always been. Number three, that's effed up. Number four goes back to number two. I refer back to number two for number four. I don't think black men care about their community. The more and more I listen to them, I don't think they care. They justify too much dysfunction, and they revel and they love living in dysfunction and chaos. Even with this whole situation with this little girl, I'm looking at different conversations on different platforms, and it's very apparent that men do not care about the well-being and safety of women and children. They justify too much. It's too much justification surrounding abuse, and all of it. It's just too much. And not that we're bringing her up, but that's why when she started talking, I was in the comments and I was like, nah, we're not doing that. I find that people who are so-called biracial and they don't have like proximity to our community, meaning a black mother or a black father, they are disconnected. They say a lot of flippant shit that makes you just be like, that's not what we're doing.
VJ, I don't even think she was biracial. I don't even think she was that.
She said she was half something on her mother's side and half something on her father's side. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
she
when you
mentioned
ask
like
her,
three demographics
yeah,
on
He
both
said she
sides.
was mixed with like 6 different things.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
I'm like, oh, you a mutt.
yeah. So they think
I ain't even
that
trying to be rude because
Yeah, I don't want to. I
that's
don't
an
want to do
old
that. I
term.
don't. Yeah, I
That's an
don't want to
old
be.
term.
I don't want to
well,
do that. I don't
yeah,
want to call her
she's
that. That's not right.
multiracial.
No,
Yeah, I just.
that's an old term.
Yeah, I
But
just say
yeah,
that she was
it's just
multiracial.
like
Yeah,
you're
she's
mixed up, baby.
multiracial.
You
But
got a lot going on.
what I do notice is with them, they do feel like that they can speak on because they, for some reason, think that they've gone through the struggles that we have gone through.
Okay,
And it's like,
VJ, I'm sorry. I got to interject one more time because, like I said, you guys, I do put these videos on YouTube.
oh, well, no,
I, I do upload these videos to YouTube. So I just wanted to say yet again, because the people that may comment on here, their sentiments are not mine. That everybody, the people that came on here today, with the exception of Supervillain, and I think Justified Poet, I've never talked to anyone before. I've never had any conversation with them before. This is my backup page. So I just want to say, because people will be in the comments saying, why did you let this go on? I do not co-sign calling anyone a mutt or anyone any derivative of a dog or an animal because they are of mixed lineage at all. So I just want to make that clear. I don't think that free spirit meant anything by it, but just because of how people
Y'all, I
be.
was clowning.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that she meant anything by it, but it's just because I know how people are. I just want to make sure that I get that clear, and that I say that I don't have anything to do with it. I would not say that. I don't think that. The only issue that I have with biracial people and multiracial people, like the person that was up here, is that they don't have a space to talk about things that are affecting the Black community. Now, a biracial person, you have a direct Black parent, possibly certain things I may allow you to speak on. But a multiracial person that literally you have a drop of Black in you, what are we talking about? No, because I am a descendant of slaves. Can I go on a white panel and talk about what it means to be white? No, they're going to tell me to get lost and kick rocks. So that's all I'm saying. I just wanted to make that clear. I'm gonna let VJ go ahead and finish speaking. I just did that because, like I said, I do upload these to YouTube, and I didn't want anyone to be like, "Oh, why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you say that?" That's all I'm saying, and I don't have and everybody can express themselves however they want. I'm not trying to tone police y'all or anything. I just want to make it so people know my stance on it. Go ahead, VJ.
Nah, you're correct, and we've spoke a few times. I'm just not frequent on here, but I do keep
Okay.
your content. But yeah, as far as the prompt, that prompt just sums up that we have a very, very, very big problem in the community when it comes to the men, and I don't know how we're gonna fix it. I don't think that it's gonna get fixed in the next 2, 3, 4 generations. This is gonna be a long fight. So I don't know. But I do know number 4 and number 2, that's pretty much their nature. So that's the battle that we're facing at this point.
Oh, shoot, I had to unmute myself. Sorry about that. Okay, VJ. All right, let me go down here to Hardy is here.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I agree with what y'all have been talking about. I do believe that men don't truly care about women, which is why they when women get harmed, which happens, like more than often happens, constantly. There's little to no empathy toward it. Coming from men. I believe that black men don't care don't care about black women, which is why there's which is why we I guess have like this volatile like reactions towards them when they it could be something as simple as like them trying to like as like a black woman trying to push us to kind of like like think differently is what I'm trying to say. I can't really express the way that I'm trying to like get it out in my head right now. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of like what I feel towards the props.
Okay. All right. Okay, Hardy. I think you guys, I am going to end this live, y'all. And I'm probably gonna come back a little later with this exact same topic. Because I gotta do something, y'all. But I appreciate everybody that came up today. I appreciate you, Super Villain. Appreciate you, VJ. Appreciate you, Free Spirit. Appreciate you, mine's going blank. Justified Poet. Appreciate you, Hardy. Shoot, it was 2 guys that came up here, but they're not worth me saying anything to thank them for coming up. But I appreciate everybody that came up and gave me your perspective. That I do, and I'm definitely going to come back with this topic because I think it's a good topic to have. And yeah, so I will see y'all. VJ or Free Spirit, did y'all have anything to say though before I left? Because I don't want to just abruptly cut it off and not let you have a chance to speak.
You
No,
good?
I'm
I know
good.
you
I'm
say you
good.
gotta go.
Yeah.
I
Go
just
ahead, do what you
honestly,
gotta do.
when I seen that dude in the comments, I was so annoyed by him, and I just had to say something. And I'm already pissed off about this whole situation. So I think I said what I needed to. If you go live again, just share it to me.
Okay, all right. I appreciate y'all.
Hmm.
And I hope that y'all have a great rest of y'all day. If I don't see y'all, but if I do see y'all, cool. But if I don't, just have a great rest of y'all day. All right, I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.